كالطير أغناها وقد جابت سماء كم مرة قد ضقت من عظم البلاء بشر وشيطان يحاصرني أبا كم مرة قد أظلم الدرب.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How's everyone doing this evening? It's your brother Hajji once again coming to educate you and enlighten you, as well as address some issues that have been circulating on YouTube from our very own Shamsi. Once again, we're back 5 months and consistently, as I said to the said individual, that the more responses you make, the more I will be listening, and the more I will be listening, the more I will embarrass you. And this boxhead still doesn't get the message. He's now released a video, okay, basically just doesn't let me go. Like, honestly, like, get over it, son. He's intensified in labeling me donkey, the donkey from Birmingham. See, when he said the donkey from Birmingham, I'm thinking, hold on here, that's not nice, calling Abu Khadija or Milk-Shaykh a donkey. I was thinking, that's not nice, Shamsi. They're your teachers, mate. What are you doing, son? But then I realised, oh, sorry, they are the donkeys from Birmingham, but he was trying to slur and insult me. So I thought, oh, that's what he meant. The hyena from Shepherd's Bush, okay, the hyena from Shepherd's Bush. Honestly, Shamsi, you need to give it a break, son. Honestly. So he's come out with a video basically saying that I'm an innovator according to the Salaf, and he was reading from an article from Milk-Shaykh, and our brother Muhammad Hijab, you know, had a back and forth with this individual. He's got nothing better to do with his time than write PDFs. An absolute low life. He's written PDFs about me. He's written PDFs about the hijab. Yeah, what a low life. You know, this save-sick mentality. You write a PDF and he thinks he's done. So he thinks he's contributed something to the ummah. And this is very, very important. What we have to stress is these guys are nothing but a failure to the ummah. They got nothing productive to offer. If anything, they take the ummah 10 steps backwards with their filthy manhaj. The video he basically released was, in essence, an article written by Milk-Shaykh, and he was just basically reading it. Now, as you can see on screen, this is the article that he was referring to. Why the Salaf made tabdi' of Al-HASAN bin Salih bin HAYY, reviled him and abandoned him after considering him an imam in the hadith, because he merely held the opinion of the permissibility of khuruj against oppressive rulers. So this is the crux of the article, okay? And what we're going to do now is, Shamsi, I'm not only going to embarrass who you call your sheikh, I'm going to embarrass you, because one thing I've noticed is you didn't have the masdar in front of you. You didn't have the source in front of you. And on top of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine the masadir from the books of Rijal. And in essence, your teacher, Milk-Shaykh, also embarrassed himself. The hyena from Shepherd's Bush doesn't stop. If you didn't release this video, your own teacher would not have got embarrassed. I would not even looked at this article, to be honest. Have a listen.
Hajar, may Allah have mercy upon him. Do you remember the Himar of Birmingham was saying? Ibn Hajar said there is different. Ibn skin. Allah al-Musta'an. Ibn Hajar said, he is from the leading imams of Islam. If only he had not become involved with the bid'ah. Ibn Hajar, come on. Do we have a donkey of Birmingham said there's different opinions? If there's different opinions and they both of them have strong proofs, there's no tabdi' here as ma'roof. So why is the Salaf made tabdi' of him? Ibn Hajar said he was imam. If only he had did not get involved in the bid'ah. Which bid'ah, Imam Ibn Hajar? The bid'ah of rebelling against the leader. Allahu Akbar. And also Al-Hasan used to hold the view of rebel against the ruler of his time due to their oppression and tyranny. But he never ever fought. Ibn Hajar said he never ever fought. He's a bootlicker to the minute. This is going to be very comprehensive, so you got to be very, very patient with me. And we're going to get to whether Ibn Hajar actually said these words. That's going to be later on in the video. Let's embarrass Shamsi, the hyena from Shepherd's Bush, and his teacher as well, okay? With their half-baked quotes and their, you know, misquotations. As you can see on screen, we've got the book Tahdhib al-Tahdhib by Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. So you remember at the start where I placed the front page of the PDF from Milk-Shaykh, where he said,
because he merely held the opinion of giving permissibility of rebelling against oppressive rulers. What did Namsi, the hyena from Shepherd's Bush, and his Milk-Shaykh, his ignorant Milk-Shaykh, conveniently missed out? وَأَمَّا تَرْكَ الْجُمْعَةِ فَفِي جُمْلَةٍ رَأْيَهُ ذَلِكَ أَنْ لَا يُصَلِّي خَلْفَ فَاسِقٍ. As for leaving the Jumu'ah, he had a view, that it's not permissible to pray behind a oppressive ruler. Okay, so hold on a second here, Namsi. When you mentioned as for him, not fighting against anyone, you stopped there. Well, it wasn't from you. You're so ignorant. You can't fight this battle alone. You had to call Milk-Shaykh and get articles made against me. I'm on my own, mate. One person on his own. You can't handle one man. That's how much of a jahil you are. So anyway, your Milk-Shaykh even conveniently missed out that he used to miss the Jumu'ah. And he had a view that it wasn't permissible to pray behind a fasiq ruler. Let's read on, as you can see on screen. And he said, and it's not correct, the leadership of the Imam al-Fasiq. And look what Ibn Hajar says. And this is what Hassan is excused for. Hassan was excused for this. The view that he had in terms of leaving the Jumu'ah, of not praying behind a fasiq ruler, and it's not correct for the leadership of a oppressive ruler. Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani says, but Hassan's excused for this. Why was he excused for this? Let's read on. And even if the correct view is against him, فَهُوَ إِمَامٌ مُجْتَهِدٌ, that he is an Imam Mujtahid. So, as you can see, Namsi's teacher, Milk-Shaykh, completely missed out the key crux. We're going to get to his opinion regarding the oppressive rulers. We're going to get to that. But as I clearly demonstrated, the point that Al-Hasan bin Salih bin Hayy, what his issue was he had that view, and we're going to get to that later on. He had other issues as well, which was that he did not pray the Jumu'ah behind a fasiq ruler. He did not pray the Jumu'ah. And he held the opinion that is not correct for the leadership of the Imam al-Fasiq. And Ibn Hajar went on to say that, but Hassan bin Salih is excused for this. Why? فَهُوَ إِمَامٌ مُجْتَهِدٌ. And to your ignorant teacher, that was very good of you to conveniently miss out the point that he used to leave the Jumu'ah Salat. That wasn't important to mention, was it? So it was best to leave that out, wasn't it, Milk-Shaykh? Because you know what you have? You have dumb sheep that follow you. And I warn you, and I warn Namsi, I'm going to check any video that you release. I ain't got no time for your articles because I've just proved you're a waste of space. You misquote, you half-bake, use technicalities. You can't be trusted. So why didn't you confirm that Al-Hasan bin Salih bin Hayy used to leave the Jumu'ah? He never used to pray the Jumu'ah. And we're going to show you what other things he said as well. So now, that's point one. Let's see what Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani also said, about this individual. Was it merely because of the opinion of him holding the view of rebelling against the oppressive rulers? We'll get to that later. Don't worry, everything is comprehensive. I'm going to expose you, Milk-Shaykh, as well. And Namsi, next time have the source, you ignorant hyena. Because why are you reading from an article? Get the source, check it. Because you are a sheep, mate. As you can see on screen, you got the book, Taqrib al-Tahdhib. This is also a book of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, which is a summarized, abridged version of Tahdhib al-Tahdhib. So as you can see on screen, when he summarizes the biography of Al-Hasan bin Salih bin Hayy, he says what? After mentioning his name, thiqa, faqih, abid, he's trustworthy, he's a faqih, and he's a worshipper. Now listen to this. This is what conveniently Namsi, the hyena, and his Milk-Shaykh, the jahil, didn't want you to know. When they said, because he merely held the opinion. Wasn't that? What was it? He was accused of having Shi'i tendencies. So as you see, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani mentioned that Al-Hasan bin Salih bin Hayy was trustworthy, was a jurist, and he was a worshipper, but he was accused of having Shi'i tendencies. So you see at the start of the article when Milk-Shaykh mentioned, because he merely held the opinion of rebelling against the oppressive rulers. We're going to get to that. Don't worry. Don't think I'm missing that out. We're going to get to that as well to show you your dishonesty. Now I make an open challenge. I'll make an open challenge to you, Namsi, the hyena, and to your teacher. Get me a quote from Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani that said if only he did not get involved in the bid'ah. I challenge you now. So you call me a donkey, you hyena. You don't even know, and you haven't even researched that Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani didn't even say that, mate. And I'm challenging you right now. Bring me that quote that Ibn Hajar said he was a leading imam, but only he did not get involved in the bid'ah. I challenge you now. Bring that quote for me from Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. Now, as you can see on screen, Imam al-Dahabi says that bid'ah has two different positions. For bid'atu sughra, then he mentions that the minor bid'ah. Now, what is this minor bid'ah? That the extremism or extravagance in having Shi'i tendencies. That's the minor bid'ah. And the extravagance without any exaggeration and any distortion. And what does Imam al-Dahabi says? And this is found in many of the tabi'een and those who follow them. Ma'ad-din wa wara'a wa sidq. And despite the fact that they had religion, they had religion, and they were devout, and they were truthful. Okay? And then Imam al-Dahabi says, فَلَوْ رُدَّ الْحَدِيثُ هَؤُلَاء. If you reject the hadith of these people who had this minor bid'ah, then you would leave off a lot of the narrations of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then Imam al-Dahabi says straight after, وَهَذِهِ مَفْسَدَةٌ بَيِّنَةٌ. That Imam al-Dahabi clearly states that the ghulu or the bid'atu sughra, that the minor bid'ah is having Shi'i leanings. But he says that if you were to remove or reject all of these narrations, and he further states that most of the tabi'een had this Shi'i leaning, meaning in tafdeel. They weren't Shia in terms of cursing cursing the companions. And Imam al-Dahabi carries on and explains that when he says al-bid'atul kubra. He explains that, but I don't want to get to that. But the crux of the matter is that Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani didn't say that. That he didn't say he was a leading imam and only if he didn't get involved in the bid'ah. He did not say that at all. But I wanted to be fair to the viewers to say, this is what when Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani says Rumya bit tashayya, that he was accused of having Shi'i leanings, that this man's narration does not get rejected because of that. Because you would know in al-Bukhari there is Shia in the chain. We know this. But it doesn't negate his adala. Okay? It doesn't negate his adala. So since Ibn Hajar mentioned Al-Hasan bin Salih being accused to be a Shi'i, meaning having Shi'i leanings, and Al-Dahabi regarding the earlier Shia, meaning the ones who had sort of Shi'i leanings, meaning about praise of Ali radiallahu anhu, this is to be a lesser category of bid'ah, but it doesn't reject your narrations. Okay? And what did he say? He goes, if that was the case, and this was found in many of the tabi'een, that they had this. So if you reject these narrators, then you lose many of the prophetic traditions. And this is وَهَذِهِ مَفْسَدَةٌ. This is a mafsada if you do that. So why didn't you mention Milk-Shaykh, that he had this opinion regarding Jumu'ah? Why didn't you mention it, mate? So you see, you guys are distorters. Nothing can be taken from you. You guys are clear distorters. Can't be trusted. They cannot be trusted at all. Okay? So this is the point. When they transmit references, Wallahi al-Azim, take it with a pinch of salt. Wallahi al-Azim. Moving on. Okay? Moving on. Let's listen to the hyena from Shepherd's Bush.
Yahya al-Qattan, Imam Yahya al-Qattan, may Allah have mercy upon him, said, Sufyan al-Thawri used to have a very evil opinion about Al-Hasan bin Yahya. Why? Do you know why? Because he said it is okay to rebel against the oppressive leader. But hold a minute, there's opinions. No, my brothers, don't not believe this donkey.
So as you hear, the hyena from Shepherd's Bush basically trying to justify being rude and disrespectful, which is not a problem. It's not a problem. I can take it. And like I said, Shamsi, or the hyena from Shepherd's Bush, this particular aspect of your game, it's not the best, mate. You could tell you're mixed with emotions. You're clearly feeling the heat, aren't you? Because that's why you run to your so-called ignorant teachers who miss stuff out. You understand? And this is known that you guys use technicalities and half-baked quotes. So at the end of the day, this is not surprising. It's just that, you make videos and you really think I'm not going to check it. Now, to use your brain, mate. When you make these references and you try to quote these references, you think I'm not going to check them. So you mentioned Sufyan al-Thawri regarding his opinion of him. So what we're going to do is we're going to quote the book Okay, and then we're going to show you what else he conveniently missed out. His teacher, Milk-Shaykh, his ignorant teacher, what he conveniently missed out. So am I denying that Al-HASAN bin Salih bin Hayy had this opinion? No, I'm not. And what we're going to do is, we're going to prove to you that in Jarh wa Ta'dil and in the books of Rijal, how this donkey conveniently missed numerous things out. Okay, numerous things. As you can see on screen, this is what Namsi was quoting. As I said, I bring you the references. As you can see, he was just reading an article from Milk-Shaykh, the Jahil, who misses stuff out. And guess what? This whole video is going to be about him conveniently missing many important factors that they didn't want you to know. But don't worry, your bro Hajji is here to bring it out and expose these Jahils. Anyway, he says, قال يحيى القطان كان الثوري سيء الرأي فيه. He said that Thawri had a bad opinion of him. Okay, had a bad opinion of him. And as you can see underneath, they said one day Sufyan al-Thawri entered the Jumu'ah and he found Hasan bin Salih praying. And then he said, obviously he accused him of being of having hypocrisy and took his shoes and went somewhere else. And then this is what Namsi quoted. It says, وَقَالَ أَيْضًا عَنَ الثَّوْرِ ذَاكَ الرَّجُلْ يَرَى السَّيْفَ عَلَى الْأُمَّةِ. That this person had an opinion of the sword against the ummah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, let's go to the book and let's see what quote is directly underneath. So they quoted that part, okay? They quoted that part of obviously him having the opinion, a bad opinion about Al-HASAN bin Salih bin Hayy and about the Jumu'ah, that he moved his shoes away and accused him of hypocrisy. And then he mentioned that he had the opinion of holding the sword upon the ummah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What else did Sufyan al-Thawri say? But you conveniently missed out the hyena from Shepherd's Bush and your ignorant teacher, the real donkey. So as you can see on screen, right underneath the quotes that Namsi quoted, which he was reading from an English article from his Milk-Shaykh, who embarrassed him, who was utterly embarrassed himself, the Jahil, who he calls Shaykh. Oh my God. Look what he says. He says that Thawri says, okay, obviously he's quoting, it says, Ja'ani Thawri ilaha huna, that Sufyan al-Thawri, and this is from Al-Khallad bin Yazid al-Ju'fi, and this is the individual who's narrating this. He says, Sufyan al-Thawri came to this place, ha huna, faqala, and said, Al-Hasan bin Salih ma'a ma sami'a min al-ilm wal-fiqh yatruku al-Jum'ah. He says that Hasan bin Salih, irrespective of the knowledge he gained and the fiqh, he used to leave the Jum'ah. You see what Ibn Hajar mentioned about him leaving the Jumu'ah? Sufyan al-Thawri also mentioned that he used to leave the Jumu'ah. That he held the opinion that it wasn't correct to pray behind a fasiq ruler. That was an opinion he had and he promoted. Then he says, listen to this underneath, وَقَالَ Ibn Idris, that Ibn Idris said, مَا أَنَا وَإِبْنْ حَيِّ لَا يَرَى جُمْعَةً وَلَا جِهَادًا. He said that Ibn Hayy, which focused on Ibn Hayy, meaning Al-Hasan bin Salih, that Ibn Hayy used to not see the Jumu'ah, meaning he used to not hold it permissible to pray the Jumu'ah behind the fasiq ruler. And what else? وَلَا جِهَادًا, and the jihad. So Sufyan al-Thawri was having that opinion of him, and he held that opinion of him. Okay, he held that opinion of him that, look, he used to hold it permissible to rebel against the oppressive ruler. But you notice they didn't make tabdi' of him. Yes, they insinuated it by leaving him alone, etc. But there's no direct tabdi'. They did not call him a mubtadi'ah. Okay? They did not call him a mubtadi'ah. So once again, Milk-Shaykh, and to the hyena from Shepherd's Bush, why did you conveniently miss it out underneath where he said that despite, so Thawri saying this, despite the fact, irrespective of the knowledge he's gained and the fiqh, he used to leave the Jumu'ah. Why didn't you mention that? That was right underneath the quotes that you were reading from your English article. So you need to go back to Milk-Shaykh and have a word with him and say, well, hold on here, mate. What the hell's going on? It was literally right underneath it, as you can see. But you missed it out. Half-baked. This is consistently the issue we're having with you guys. You don't transmit references sincerely. You guys are charlatans. You got to be warned of. You guys are an absolute cancer within the ummah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to another book just to combine the evidences. So as you can see on screen, I got the book here, Sir al-A'lam al-Nubala by Imam al-Dahabi. And as you can see on screen, it mentions the same thing. It says, Qultu, and this is obviously referring to the other narration that I brought from Tahdib al-Tahdib. He says that he used to leave the Jumu'ah. Imam al-Dahabi mentions this as well in Sir al-A'lam al-Nubala. So as Milk-Shaykh mentioned in his article right at the start with the title of the PDF, Mr. Adobe, because he merely held the opinion of rebelling against the oppressive rulers. It wasn't merely because of that. Was it then, Milk-Shaykh? You fraud. So he says, he used to leave the Jumu'ah and he never used to hold the opinion of playing behind Immat-al-Jawr. So he held that opinion as well. So let's see what else he says. At the bottom he also says, Al-HASAN bin Salih ma'a sami'a min al-ilm wa fiqh yatruk al-Jum'ah. Okay, same thing. Now look what Imam Al-Dahabi also quotes, the same narration from Idris. He says, لا يرى الجمعة ولا جهادا. So as you can see, I've connected the evidences from Tahdib al-Tahdib to Sir al-Alam al-Nubala. So I ask you again, Milk-Shaykh and the hyena from Shepherd's Bush, was it because he merely had the opinion of the oppressive rulers? Well, he held that opinion. I'm not denying that. But we're going to carry on later to see what else the Imams have said about that. So, you guys are frauds. You guys are Dajjals. You guys are Dajjaloon. Charlatans, man. I can't believe a simple brother from Birmingham who's not even a basic student of knowledge, who's got basic understanding of the Arabic language, can access these masadir and expose your so-called sheikhs. Oh my God, this is getting from bad to worse. Namsi, you need to go into retirement, mate. Honestly, you're a fraud. You're an absolute fraud. So take it easy, mate. Take it easy. Now, let's carry on and let's expose these charlatans again. Okay, let's listen to Namsi.
Abu Muhammad, not Abu Muhammad narrating. He said we were sitting with Waqi', and when he would narrate from Al-HASAN bin Salih, we would put down our hands and not to write. So he said, what is with you? They do not write hadith that are good. So my brother indicated to him with his hand like this, meaning he holds it's permissible to rebel against the leader. So Waqi' remained silent.
So as you heard Namsi again quote from his English article from his Milk-Shaykh, who's really thrown him under the bus and he's exposed himself as a jahil. You understand? My brother Hijab, put a good title for him, Milk-Shaykh, because that's what he is. You understand? So my brother Muhammad Hijab was right. He's an absolute waste. He rather go and pasteurize semi-skimmed milk, because that, or work behind those ice cream parlors. I think your job's there, mate, to be honest. I think you need to go mix some milkshakes, Ferrero Rocher and Skittles and Twirls. That's your job, Milk-Shaykh, because you just expose yourself from a person who's a basic student of knowledge. So if I've got access, this shows you're a waste of time. The Sheikh and the PDFs you'll be making against the Sheikh, against me, against brother Hijab, you're an absolute fraud, mate. You're a fraud. Anyway, let's get back on track, because at the end of the day, we got to keep mentioning their fraud. And don't worry, we got something surprise for you as well later on in the video. Okay, is this true? Let's look at the quote. Let's give you the source. Let Hajji bring the source to you. Okay. As you can see, here's the quote right in front of you. Exactly what Namsi mentioned. The hyena from Shepherd's Bush that were with Waqi'. And then when they were narrating the hadith from Al-HASAN bin Salih, they didn't write, meaning the students. Waqi' said to them, ما لكم, what's wrong with you? فقال له أخي بيده هكذا يعني أنه كان يرى السيف. That فسقط. That he said that the brother raised his hand, basically putting his hand out, saying that he sees the sword, and Waqi' remained silent. Okay, so this is true that he held his opinion. I'm not denying that. But did they make tabdi' of him? I'm going to keep emphasizing that. Did they call him a mubtadi'ah? Remember, he had opinions, vague opinions regarding leaving the Jumu'ah. And he did not believe in jihad behind these imams. And he did not pray behind them. And he didn't pray the Jumu'ah. These opinions wasn't merely because of having that opinion. Whilst he had that opinion as well. And some ulama criticized that. No problem. That's what I said in the ikhtilaf. Don't worry, we're going to carry on and we're going to expose you even more. So Namsi, let me ask you a question, mate. I'm admitting that's true. Was you guys skipped out the main issue that he was also, I forgot to mention, that he was accused of being a Shia, meaning having the lesser degree, had Shia leaning. What you don't realize, my brothers and sisters, is this. If you literally skip the next page, okay, he stopped there, didn't he? About Waqi'. He mentioned Waqi'. But he missed out something very important on the next page. As you can see on screen, this is literally the next page. That Waqi' basically said, Al-HASAN bin Salih, الذي لو رأيته ذكرت سعيد بن جبير. He said that, Waqi' said, that if you were to see, okay, Al-HASAN bin Salih, it will remind you of Sa'id bin Jubair. Who's Sa'id bin Jubair? You know who Sa'id bin Jubair is? Okay? Waqi', even though he kept silent, didn't make tabdi' of him, did he? Because he's saying here, Who is Sa'id bin Jubair? Are you going to make tabdi' of Sa'id bin Jubair? And don't worry, wait, what else I got in store for you? So why did you miss that out, Shamsi? And Milk-Shaykh, why did you miss that out? You insinuated by just quoting that part, without skipping to the next page, is that Waqi' had a negative view of him. But Waqi' kept silent. He didn't make tabdi' of him. None of the books of Rijal make direct tabdi'. Okay? That called him a mubtadi'ah. This is the point. When you say they made tabdi' of him, they have to call him a mubtadi'ah. Because Ad-Dahabi explained, they had a certain bid'ah with him, which is Rumiya bit-Tashay'ah. They had this with him. So it wasn't the bid'ah of khuruj. Let's now combine it again. Okay, let's combine it again. You can see on screen, we got the book Sir al-A'lam al-Nubala by Imam Ad-Dahabi. And as you can see on screen, okay, that it mentions the same narration in terms of the athar about Waqi' saying Al-Hasan bin Salih الذي لو رأيته ذكرت سعيد بن جبير أو شبحته بسعيد بن جبير. So it's basically the same narration. Now listen to this. This is what Imam Ad-Dahabi said about him. قلت, Imam Ad-Dahabi said that between them are similarities. So between Sa'id bin Jubair and Al-Hasan bin Salih bin Hayy are similarities. وهو العلم والعبادة والخروج على الظلمة تدينا. That they had with them knowledge, worship, and rebelling against the oppressive ruler tadayyunan. And they rebelled against the oppressor out of religiosity, out of faith, to rebel against the oppressive rulers. So now I ask you, if according to you, they did not make tabdi' of him, they did not call him a mubtadi'ah. So if you're saying that the Salaf made tabdi' of Al-Hasan bin Salih bin Hayy because of his views, even though he didn't do khuruj, he had Shi'i leanings, he left the Jumu'ah, he never used to pray behind the Imam al-Fasiq, and all of these issues that he had, if he had similarities with Sa'id bin Jubair, and they believed in the same things, and they did the same things, well, Al-Hasan bin Salih bin Hayy didn't actually go out, well, Sa'id bin Jubair went out. So why isn't there any tabdi' of Sa'id bin Jubair? Because they did the same thing. Or well, they held the same views. So if the Salaf made tabdi' of Al-Hasan bin Salih bin Hayy, why didn't they make tabdi' of Sa'id bin Jubair? Let's go back to that now about, he wanted the sword, and he basically said it's permissible to rebel against the unjust ruler. They're saying, meaning the Salaf, when they said he saw the sword, what did they mean by that? يعني كان يرى الخروج بالسيف على أئمة الجور. That what he meant by he saw the sword, meaning he basically believed that it was permissible to do khuruj with the sword against the oppressive rulers. That's what he meant. The hyena from Shepherd's Bush was right. That's what he meant. Listen to this. So if the Salaf made tabdi' of Al-Hasan bin Salih, according to him, some of the scholars left his narrations because of that, but that's obviously natural. Jarh wa Ta'deel, and we're going to go to other books of Rijal to show you what other Imams have said about him. So anyway, so this is what his opinion was, that Yara' as-Sayf, or Kana Yara' as-Sayf, basically meant that he saw permissibility of rebelling against the unjust ruler with the sword. Look what he said. Ibn Hajar, وَهَذَا مَذْهَبْ لِلسَّلَفِ الْقَدِيمِ. This was the madhab of the early Salaf. He says that basically, but they left it off. Listen, they left it off after they saw, the severity of it. And this is our opinion anyway, that it's better not to do khuruj. You get it? It's better not to do khuruj. It's better to have patience. This is where we're going to expose you and your teacher's jahl. Your premise or your video was based upon that Jahil's article, that it was the Salaf, that the Salaf made tabdi' of Al-Hasan bin Salih bin Hayy because he held the opinion that he saw the sword. وَكَانَ يَرَى السَّيْفِ. That's what you base this upon. That lie that he mentioned at the start, that misleading title, because he merely held the opinion of seeing rebelling against the oppressive rulers. No, it wasn't, as we've already demonstrated. There's many factors about this individual. But if you're going to accuse Al-Hasan bin Salih bin Hayy of having a bid'ah, meaning because of this, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani said that this was the madhab of the early Salaf. So this is under his biography. So if you're going to be true to your principles, that if you accusing Al-Hasan bin Salih bin Hayy of being a mubtadi'ah for having this opinion, that this was the opinion of the early Salaf, in that case then you need to make tabdi' of all the early Salaf. Because Al-Hasan bin Salih bin Hayy didn't go actually out and fight, as Ibn Hajar explained. And when he explained this, the words of the early Salaf that had that issue with him, because some of the early Salaf did, that he said وَكَانَ يَرَاءُ بِالسَّيْفِ, meaning that he sought permissibility of rebelling against the oppressive ruler. And what did Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani say? وَهَذَا مَذْهَبْ لِلسَّلَفِ الْقَدِيمِ. This was the madhab of the early Salaf. So then I dare you Milk-Shaykh and the hyena from Shepherd's Bush, stick by your stances. Make tabdi', call all the Salaf, early Salaf, mubtadi'ah, because this was their madhab. This was their madhab. See how you drying yourself? So if Al-HASAN bin Salih was made tabdi' of because of this opinion, Ibn Hajar was saying this was the madhab of the early Salaf, because they didn't make direct tabdi'. They did not call him a mubtadi'ah. So you guys are liars again. So as you can see on screen, this is the quote of Milk-Shaykh, where he says, the Salaf made tabdi' of him and no longer wrote from him, because he opposed the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam and had chosen misguidance over guidance, as what Shamsi said. Ibn Hajar, he was the leading imams of Islam, if only he had not become involved with the bid'ah. Okay, and then he mentions, and also Al-HASAN used to hold the view of revolting against the rules of Islam due to their oppression and tyranny, but he never fought, and that's true. But you notice he missed out the part before where he said that, or that part after and before. The part after was that he refused the Jumu'ah, or prayed the Jumu'ah, and he believed that it wasn't correct to pray behind a fasiq. And before that, when Ibn Hajar said, وَكَانَ يَرَى السَّيْفِ, Ibn Hajar said that this was the madhab of the Salaf. So if you're going to be just, then accuse all of the early Salaf in tabdi'. So I make a challenge again, okay? And I keep reiterating this challenge. This quote that I've just put up on screen, I challenge you to bring this out from Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani in Tahdhib al-Tahdhib. Bring it out from there. You won't, because he didn't say that. Okay? Ibn Hajar, he didn't say that. So I challenge you, bring it out. Now we're going to present something to you.
Me getting frustrated because this is a mushkil of our time. This is a calamity of YouTube. But children still have dummy, or they recently took out their dummy, and they got so excited they start talking, they don't want to stop talking, going against the ulama. Books of Aqa'id clearly said, from the Aqidah of Al-Sunnah to not rebel against oppressive ruler. I have no mercy on this guy. This guy, he is there to destroy the ummah of Muhammad ﷺ. What is Birmingham? What our brothers and sisters, by thousands of them, dying in the sea. And you see our brothers...
So as you hear Shamsi clearly getting frustrated. You're getting frustrated, are you, son? Okay? It frustrates me. Okay? Yeah, of course it will frustrate you when we expose your hypocrisy. That's fine. So stop being a liar. Stop being a hypocrite. Stop being a charlatan. You know what I mean? Simple. And then he says that he wants to destroy the ummah. What? Shamsi, or the hyena from Shepherd's Bush, are you pinning the whole Arab Spring on me? Come on, mate. Like, you're getting frustrated, aren't you? Because you've had someone clap back. You understand? You've had someone clap back. So, like I said, you messed with the wrong cat. You understand? I told you, you shouldn't have approached me. I told you that you started this. You brought this out. I've had no intentions to bring this out. You made me come out and bring all this to the public. Now this is probably khair. This is probably goodness. You know what I mean? قَدَرَ اللَّهُ مَا شَاءَ فَعَلْ. This is what Allah decreed. So we accept it. That you and your filthy cult will be exposed. Once again, we'll expose Shamsi, the hyena from Shepherd's Bush. Have a listen.
Listen to the praise, how the ulama praised him before. Abu Hatim Al-Razi said concerning what's his name? Al-HASAN bin Salih, Thiqa, Hafid, Mutqin. Ahmad ibn Hanbal said about him, Thiqa. And also Al-HASAN bin Salih is authentic in reporting. Yahya ibn Ma'in said, Thiqa, Ma'moon. Also Thiqa, Mustaqim in Hadith. So these many scholars praise him. Okay?
And the key words I want you to focus on is the words that were, look how the Imams of the Salaf praised him before. Okay, and this is an utter lie. Nowhere in the books of Rijal where you would find a statement saying that this is how they praised him before and this is how they criticized him after. What a liar. Yes, there were ulama that criticized him, but we know why they criticized him, not just for merely holding that opinion. There were other factors that he had where they criticized him. But for you to say, look how the Imams praised him before. So what he's trying to insinuate, which he lied to you, is that he said that the Imams of the Salaf, or the Muhaddithun, that they praised him, but then when he held the views of Khuruj, they criticized him. Absolute liar. Absolute Dajjal. And we've already proved that. Now let's go into the books of Rijal. We're going to go into the books of Rijal now to see what the Imams have said, because it would be clearly there, wouldn't it? That how they praised him before, and then how they criticized him after for having the opinion of Khuruj. It would be there, wouldn't it? An unequivocal statement. Let's see Shamsi, the hyena. Okay, so as you can see on screen, we got the book Kitab al-Jarh wa Ta'dil by Ibn Hatim. Okay, Ibn Hatim al-Razi. Okay, now we're under the biography, as you can see on screen, Bab al-Sad, and it's the biography Al-Hasan bin Salih bin Muslim bin Hayy, meaning Al-Hasan bin Salih bin Hayy, and it's highlighted in yellow, okay? And you can see a quote here clearly that Imam Ahmad, okay, Imam Ahmad praised him. So you can see here Ahmad bin Hanbal that Al-Hasan bin Salih is affirmed in hadith. And on the next page you can see as well, so I challenge Shamsi to bring a categoric statement that said that they praised him before when he held the views of Khuruj, they made tabdi' of him. Because Ibn Hatim doesn't mention any of that, mate. If anything, he's mostly praise. Okay, let's carry on. You've got obviously other muhaddithun that have said he's righteous and he's thiqat and he's hafid mutqin, and Nisa'i said he's thiqat, etc, etc. So you see, we've basically proved once again that these madakhila jamia cannot be trusted. You can't be trusted. That's a God honest truth. You can't be trusted when you're transmitting references. And it doesn't mean every single PDF that you've made I need to respond to. But the point here is, you're a charlatan, mate. You've been exposed by not even a student of knowledge. Just a basic brother who knows his limitations. Do you understand? So if you pin a mistake or find a mistake from me, don't be alarmed. Don't be surprised. You know what I mean? I'm far from the finished article. I've got a lot to learn. But how mischievous you guys are, okay? You know, it's just, I'm absolutely shocked to the core. You guys are supposed to be religious brothers, and this is the games you play? Now I reiterate and I emphasize, you're dealing with one man. It's me on my own. Literally, I do the editing, I do the scripting, I do the recording, I set up these lights. I'm recording now. Once I finish, I go do the editing. You're up against one man, lads. You understand? The hyena from Shepherd's Bush, you're up against one man. You've got a whole team behind you. You've got the donkeys of Birmingham, the real donkeys. You know, it's not good to insult Milk-Shaykh. You understand? When you said the donkey of Birmingham, I'm sure you're referring to him, because he is the donkey of Birmingham. But anyway, so I'm just reiterating, my brothers and sisters, Wallah al-Azim, I'm tackling the Shia and I'm tackling the Madakhila all on my own. Wallah al-Azim. Go ask the Sunni Defense. Go ask various brothers from Birmingham. There is no team. I get support. Don't get me wrong. I have many beautiful brothers that support me, that check my references and help me and support me. I'm not saying that there's just me on my own generally, but I'm talking about me as a team. They help me. I do everything. These lights you see here, the camera, the mic, then the recording. It's me. So you can't even handle one man on his own. And even you, the Rafidah, you can't even handle one man. And you got Bi'atul Ghadir, you got a whole team behind you. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting, vile people you guys are. Okay, just remember, our stance was never the case that some of the Salaf held the view of rebelling against an unjust ruler. It's not correct. I've never said that was the case. So I don't understand when you bring a statement from any of the leading imams from the Salaf and say, yeah, look what they said about Khuruj. I'm not denying that. But I've never once held that opinion or even forced that across or even transmitted that in any of my videos. So I'm saying here is, this is why it's a mas'ala dhanniya furu'iyya. It's from the subsidiary matters. And you keep mentioning the books of Aqidah. Nancy, you mentioned the books of Aqidah. Okay, here it is, mate. You think we don't study? You think we don't study, mate? Look at this. These are all the books of Aqidah from the early, from Muzani, from Imam Ahmad Hanbal as-Sunnah, Al-La'ikai. I got Ibana right there as well. You understand? You think I don't study? You think we don't study, mate? Here's the books of Aqidah. You think we don't study? But the point here is, mate, that I'm saying to you that the books of Aqidah were written, Yad Khisal, the Khawarij, and we're saying, and I reiterate the point, that it's better not to do Khuruj. I'm saying it now, it's better not to. So once again, I've demonstrated that these brothers cannot be trusted. And it's not to say that just because, you know, we've got books, doesn't mean that, oh, all of a sudden we're now all knowledgeable. No, we've got a lot to learn. We've got a lot to study, and it continues from the cradle to the grave. So this is my point. Take it easy. Stop being deceivers. You guys are absolutely vile. Honestly, you guys are vile, despicable individuals. And I hope and I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides you. Wallah al-Adim. And the sincere ones amongst you, Wallah al-Adim, use your head. Utilize it, please. And now, also regarding, they mention, oh, well, if you believe there's a difference of opinion, so then why are you calling the other side bootlickers? Let me explain that, because I have that accusation leveled against me quite a lot. When I say institutionalized bootlickers, I'm referring to those, okay, that label the other side Khawarij. If you disagree with us, no problem. No problem. You disagree with us, you hold that opinion that the Khuruj is not valid, no problem. It's when I say institutionalized bootlickers, it's those who label the other side, like myself and others, that they are from the Khawarij for having these opinions. You guys are institutionalized bootlickers. That's just the bottom line. And secondly as well, whilst that's been said, institutionalized bootlickers are in essence those who defend the tyrant rulers and don't criticize them. So that's fine. There's an opinion that you shouldn't do Khuruj. That's fine. They're not bootlickers. They can have that opinion. They can disagree with me. That's not a problem. You've got every right to disagree with me. But the institutionalized bootlickers in the waste papers are those who call the other side Khawarij and don't accept that there's a valid difference of opinion. And even if those who hold the opinion that there is no valid difference of opinion, but don't label the other side Khawarij, they're not bootlickers. So, to summarize, and to make it brief, you guys are bootlickers. You guys qualify as bootlickers. So those labels, you say, well, Hajji, he believes there's a difference of opinion, but then he calls us bootlickers. Because you are bootlickers and you call us Khawarij, and you don't believe there's a difference of opinion. But that's not the overriding criteria to not believe that there's a difference of opinion, is that you call us Khawarij because of that. Because we believe that, it's a mas'ala dhanniya furu'iyya based on ijtihad, because if you have the quwwa, shawka, mani, and many of the courts have done 5 hours worth of adillah. So anyway, take it easy, lads. Stop using that. You guys are institutionalized bootlickers. You will remain like that if you don't open your eyes. And also as well, look on screen. That's Namsi the hyena. If you watch Lion King, if you remember, Mufasa, 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 Namsi, Namsi, Namsi. That's Namsi in a nutshell. That's him. And as you can see as well, there's Milk-Shaykh, Scar. So Namsi's the dumb hyena and Scar is basically Milk-Shaykh, who ain't got a clue. But the reality is there's heavyweights out there from the ulama that would always manifest the truth and would expose these jahil. Not me. I'm not even a basic student of knowledge. But anyway, take care peeps. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad.
كالطير أغناها وقد جابت سماء كم مرة قد ضقت من عظم البلاء بشر وشيطان يحاصرني أبا كم مرة قد أظلم الدرب